Right, so taking a look at first example, here you can now see what I mean by we're given a graph with a straight line and we are asked to determine its equation. So we'll have our formula. First of all, we're going to set out a formula, which is y equals mx plus c, and by the end of it we'll have a number value for m and c that we will work out. So next we need to label our coordinates. So we're going to pick two coordinates and they need to be clearly defined, so which means you want them to be clearly a clear coordinate, not where you're having to guess a fraction or a decimal place, a very clearly defined coordinate. So for example here, first of all I'm going to use -2, -2. We can see it's very clearly well defined. And next I'm going to use another clearly defined point of 4, 0, 0, 4. So now that we have two coordinates, we can go ahead and work out our gradient. Doing that, we know our gradient is m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So to put these in, I'm first going to label. So this is going to be x1 for our first x coordinate. This is going to be y1 for our first y coordinate. And 1 just represents the first set of coordinates. So this is going to be x2 for the second set and y2 for the second set. So now subbing these in to actually get our gradient. y2 is 4 minus y1, which is -2. So be careful to include that it's -2 and not just 2 all over. And then x2, which is 0, minus, and then it's also -2, so remember to include that. Solving this is going to be 4 minus -2, so 4 plus 2. And then this is 0 minus -2, minus -2 is just going to be +2. 4 add 2 is 6 over 2, which solves to 3. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So now that we have m, we need to find c. So c is the y-intercept. So c is the y point at which the line crosses the y-axis. And as we can see, it's very clearly defined and actually selected a coordinate of it. So looking at our graph, we can see it crosses the y-axis very clearly when y is 4. So that is going to be our c. And now all we need to do, we've worked out m and c, we just need to plug this in. So our final answer is going to be y is equal to m, which is 3, x plus c, which is 4. And the whole reason we do this is because now, if we wanted to work out any point on the line, we can do that. For example, I can sub in, say I wanted to know what y was when x was 100. I can sub in 100, and then using that, subbing in 100 for x, and then solving, I can find our y value. So just for example, say we needed to work out what y was when x is 100, we can sub 100 in, 100 times 3 is 300, add 4 is 304. So when x is 100, y is 304. And that's just why we need to actually solve these equations. So let's go ahead and look at our second example. So